We all have these games we wish had a sequel. Either because the story was left open, the gameplay was amazing, or just because we love the game so damn much. And while sequelitis is definitely a plague upon humanity, here are my top 5 games I wish had a sequel. Let's start off with a game where, story-wise, it doesn't make a lot of sense to make a sequel. Because I'm nothing if not inconsistent. But The Pale Beyond stole my heart when I first saw its artwork, and then it also delivered fully on the gameplay front for me. It's a resource management title, and I have a soft spot for those. The story revolves around this motley crew who venture out on the Temperance to find its sister ship, the Viscount, which was lost 5 years ago while on a search for the true magnetic south. Through a series of mysterious events, you end up the captain for the ship and have to manage your crew and the sparse resources you still have left in order to survive the harsh, frosty conditions. The heart and soul of this game are its characters. You get to know most of them quite well, their hopes and dreams, and their fears of death. And their dislike of you when you do a bad job.
Captain has a frozen arse, hard as rock, no thawing soon.
You really want them to survive and not get swallowed up by the unrelenting, never-caring cold. So you might start to suspect why a sequel doesn't make a lot of sense. The goal is to get everyone out safe, and you can succeed on that, so what would a sequel be about? I don't know, and I don't care. Just give me more of the gameplay and more of these people. Tell me they all dreamt they were safe, but it's not true, or that they all went insane and now you need to find a way to save them while you're losing your own mind. It doesn't matter, really. I just want them back. Please? I know it's super likely the studio that made the game underwent some restructuring, and it's totally unclear to me if they even still work on games. But hope dies last! To redeem myself, I'm now going to talk about a game that left the door wide open for a sequel. Lucifer Within Us. This is a short detective game with a unique setting and fun deduction gameplay. You're set loose in a sci-fi world of neo-religion. Everyone has implants and the world seems technologically advanced, but they are dressed in a rather restrictive blend of many religions we know today. It's robes and clerical accessories all the way, baby! This society prays to a god called Ein Sof and has experienced a century of prosperity and peace without crime. But that changes at the start of the game when a murder takes place. You are Ada, exorcist and detective, specializing in demonic possessions. I know this all sounds rather culty, but that's kind of the point as you learn along the way. The story has some twists to offer and is not at its conclusion by the end. One of the reasons why I want a sequel. It's a very interesting piece of world building that I haven't seen done this way, and I appreciate it. The gameplay is a fun mix of collecting evidence, gathering testimonies, and confronting suspects.
Confess, Ruben. Tell us what the daemon made you do.
You have a timeline going at the bottom, and the more clues you gather, the more false testimonies you uncover, the more filled out and accurate it becomes, until you can unmask the perpetrator and the daemon that has possessed them.
Leave humans be, Lotan. I banish you to the ether!
That's another important thing to note. These daemons seem quite real, and without them, these people wouldn't have committed these crimes. Or would they? It's such a fun play on sin and free will, and I would love me some more of that. Also, the voice acting in this was really good, and I will always stand talent.
I am Virgil, Chief Inquisitor at St. Walpurgis Abbey.
So please hear my plea, Kid Fox. Make another one! I need my, at this point, totally depressed main character. Does a text-based political RPG set in an alternate Cold War era sound appealing to you? It didn't to me either, but then I played Suzerain and was glued to my screen for the 25-ish hours it took me to finish the story. You assume the role of President Anton Rain of Swordland, taking over the country after much political turmoil, inheriting the unthankful task of having to align itself with one of the current superpowers. One very much capitalist coded, the other socialist coded. And you need to keep the budget in order while having to advance technologically or run the risk of losing an economic edge. I know, when I say these words, it all sounds so dry, but I promise you it isn't. It's a very fun RPG where you need to choose your actions carefully, lest your enemies might gain the upper hand. The world of Suzerain is very rich in lore, like really. If you want to, you can read about every NPC you meet, what their upbringing was like and where their political leanings lie. You get information about all countries, what their economies are based on, their military power. Then there's also the different political parties, important companies, religions, and so on and so forth. They truly built a world. And dang it, I want more of that world! Now, technically, they did release a DLC recently that acts as a bit of a prequel where you see Swordland's rise and fall from a different country's perspective. Also, there's a new game in the works set in the same world. But neither of those is Suzerain 2. So I stand by what I said. I want more of this political intrigue. And I want to know what the hell happened to Swordland, because let me tell you, I didn't leave it in the best of places and may have been military couped by the end of my reign. Cracky Swordland! I love me a good first-person puzzler. So, even though I'm very cautious when it comes to horror games, because I also like me some good sleep, Killer Frequency intrigued me from the get-go. A cheesy 80s-inspired comedy horror game where you play as a radio show host who has been put in charge of the emergency hotline because the only police officer had to leave town?
No, I'm sorry, but this is a terrible idea. What on earth made you think to do that?
Yes, please! First, Nash and his trusty producer Peggy have to save the people of Gallows Creek from a crazed serial killer in a mask, who seems to be a reincarnation of a murderer who had terrorized the town back in the 1950s. For that, Dear Forrest needs to comb the radio station for clues about the people and the masked killer, but can never forget to put on the next track. Wouldn't want a murder to happen to the wrong song, would we?
Now it's time to go with The Flow. And this is their hit, Crying for Help.
To me, Killer Frequency had the perfect blend of fun puzzles mixed with the right amount of campy humor and homages to what has come before. It borrows from all manner of horror movies, the very obvious one being Halloween, but never devolves into pure copying. The voice cast is great, and you can tell they had a blast making this game.
My name is Teddy Gallows Jr., and I approve this message.
God, what a jackass.
100% grade A asshole.
Also, the murders, if they do happen because you can prevent them, are very brutal. Even though you don't see a single one, just hearing them somehow makes it much worse. And that is all I would want in a sequel. Does it make sense that a new serial killer, or the old one, wink wink, comes into town of maybe 5,000 people? No. But we are talking about the horror genre. The setup can be as contrived as it needs to be and you can still have a lot of fun. Team 17, this is your cue. Give me Killer Frequency 2 for Halloween. Or really, any other date, because I will take it. Didn't I just say I'm very cautious when it comes to horror games? Well, told you at the beginning, I'm super inconsistent because my number one spot is also a horror game. The Fabulous Fear Machine is an outbreak sim. Thank you Steam for that tag. Wouldn't have known what to call this, honestly. Where you plant a seed of fear into the world and need to evolve it into outright terror. Yes, indeed, you are the bad guy, luring people in with promises of fame and fortune and ruining everyone's life in the process while furthering your own goals as pure evil. And who hasn't dreamed about making people believe that cannibalistic rednecks are stalking their children? The game features a fantastic comic book look, and the story is also told in comic book panels. And these get bloody. Cover the eyes of those aforementioned children, if they still have them. The gameplay is really what drew me into this one. I was very surprised to learn last year that, according to Steam, Outbreak Sim was one of my favorite genres. And I'm pretty sure the Fabulous Fear Machine accounted for a lot of those accumulated hours. There's just something about planting a fear seed, evolving it, sending out your minions, defeating rivals, and spreading misery all over the world that spoke to me. Don't really want to get into what that says about me as a person, but I did really enjoy it. And it would be super easy to make a sequel for this one. The gameplay can be endless anyway, and you just come up with a couple of new stories and add a bit to the lore of this machine. Voila! Honestly, you could pretty much sell me the same game again if you erased my memory of it beforehand. Victorama Studios, when you're done making games about not feeding monkeys, give me a call. I have ideas. I swear! What are the games you want to see a sequel for? And don't you dare say Silksong, that doesn't count!